You'll have to forgive me for the dryer noise in the background. Sorry about that. Welcome back, Alex Man Toad here. I'm Mushroom Man Toad, but I'm in a modding environment because we are talking about progress that has been happening on Mushrooms Mod 0.0.3. So if you saw the last video, you'd have seen that I was working on magic. So if I do /give @p mushrooms:\spell, and then I had the different types in it, right? So I had the one that worked was Etern Ox, and there was also a few more, like Fictus, as well as Prosody, and a few others. So right away, as soon as you obtain them, they're just going to say new spell, right? And if I right-click on something with this one, you know, you've seen this before, right? It just destroys the block, and it starts to gain experience. So there has been some progress made with these items up to this point. Now, so far, only two are working, and that is Etern Ox and Prosody, which is here, which I'm trying to change the name of, but I can't right now because I want to save what it does for just a few moments. First of all, with our Etern Ox spell, you can level it up every time. And right now you see it's on 50 now, so it's ready to go to the next level. And it's going to do a little bit more damage when you use it. And then if we go up to 100, it'll do even more damage when you right click with it. So that's cool and all. If you get this thing up to, and I can't remember what the max level is. I think it's 10,000 I want then. Yeah, I think so. It's going to do a big old sphere for you. So if I just I'm just going to quickly spectator mode my way over here to some uncharted part of the world. Take this item, right-click, boom. That is a big room for you. I've cleared my inventory to make way for talking about the next spell, and we're going to talk about what happened here in a minute, and I'll show you the destruction. It's really fun. First of all, we're going to give ourselves this spell here, this brand new spell, which I don't think I've ever shown off on this channel. This has been working for a little while now. It's called Prosody. It's one of the 5 primordial magics. And when right-clicked... That one was kind of lame. Oh, come on. But it's going to fling... There we go! It's going to fling the block. It's going to fling it, you know, all over the place. And if we, you know, get some uses going on this, like, say, 50, get it up to level 2, it's going to fling them in a little bit of an area, kind of like we did with the Etern Ox. And if we, you know, we get this thing up to, like, you know, 10,000... I think it still goes higher, but yeah, you get this thing up to 10,000 and yeah, you're just going to be moving things. It also works on liquids too. So if you have any interest in quickly flooding a desert, that's how you would go about it. You see there's water blocks everywhere now. Okay, so that is the progress with the spells specifically right now. Now you might think, well, gee, Mushroom, that's you know, that's cool and all, but not very much. Like, how come it's taking you so long to get this kind of stuff done, and it's just, you know, one more spell and, you know, a couple higher levels? Well, the answer is actually going to lie right here inside of the item class for the spell. This is the item spell class, and like I said, all the spells run through the same item, so that I don't have to have like a million different items just for all the spells I've got, right? So if we scroll through here, you're going to see there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. That's just determines spell types. And then this is the part here. This part here used to be a super big block of code. Like, I mean, massive block of code. And so did this part here, the part that did the level up. These used to be massive blocks of code. But I managed to reduce them to just this little bit. And this is what I've been learning this week. Is when it comes to creating things, you want to make it as compact as possible. Like, I used to use an Eclipse generator to generate the code to make this thing happen. That is a very, very dumb way to go about doing things. Reason being, you're already working with a computer. Why should you need to take the computer to generate the code for the computer when you can just write it in? So I went and looked at Minecraft source code, for example, the explosion code, and that's how I figured out, oh, you can compact it down to something that looks like this. I know it looks like it's big and complicated. The old line of code that did... I'll scroll down to full prosody here. The old line of code that did this was 150,000 characters long. That's way too big. That's ridiculous. The file size was stupidly large. So that's what I've been learning to do, is how you take a program that's really big and complicated and condense it down. And so if you're somebody working with mods and you want to be like learning how to program, not just, you know, making a mod for the fun of it, although programming is fun, you know, I'm not saying anything like that, but really try to learn those little tricks where you can learn to compress your code down like this. And I'm sure you could shrink this even further. I'm not exactly sure, probably something in here, you know, this is a bit repetitive. Like if you're using repetitive code, I tend to find there's probably a way you can make it shorter, but you know, it depends on the scenario. For this example, there's a reason I've capped it there. But anyway, that's my whole spiel about coding. Let's talk about some stuff I've been working on. This is the crater. If you follow me on Twitter, which you know you should be doing, you would have seen this image. I posted it already over there. This is a big old crater. It happened in about 30 seconds, and no, it wasn't some big old fireball. You know, fireballs leave those patterns on the outside, but if I come up here to the surface, you're not really going to see any kind of streak marks coming out of it. It's just a chasm. So how did that happen? Well, it's with a new block that it does have a texture now. It doesn't have a name yet. This is the void tile. Now, right now, I have random tick speed set to 0, right? And that's just to show off, first of all, what this thing does on the surface. Ooh, I just got an egg. So first of all, it acts kind of like air in that, you know, you can place blocks into it. So if I just grab some grass here, like you can overwrite it like this, and you can walk through it. The trick is when you walk through it, it will wither you. The night vision is just for testing. This doesn't do that. So when you walk into the void, it'll cause you to get the wither effect. Now the way you'll get void is by casting a void spell, which I'll show you how you get that here in just a moment, or something like it. But okay, I've placed down the void. Now you want to know where the chasm came from. Well, let's just set this to 10 for now. And you can see this void block actually spreads. It's happening very slowly right now, but that's probably a good thing. Like if we pop underground here, you'll see it started to spread a bit underground too, and I kind of want to keep it a little bit contained so it doesn't destroy my whole testing world. But you know, the void, it gradually spreads and gets bigger. And what I did is I turned the tick speed to 1,000 at one point and quickly regretted it. This was a desert. So that is how the void block is going to work, and that's just one of the interesting things that'll come from spells. So you can get it by casting a certain void spell, and it'll also occasionally spawn when using Etern Ox, so it's much rarer, and of course, it's easy to clean up. Alright, I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we can get on to something really, really cool that I've been working on. Probably the thing I'm most proud of, and that also took the most time to get going, so that's why I'm the most proud of it. But I'm going to come back to that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go /give @p. And we want to go with mushrooms, spell, 1, 0, type equals fictus. And then we're going to go type equals, and we're going to need to grab ourselves some demarial. Right, so we've got these two spells, right? This one, these are both respectively named. They don't have functionality yet. We're still working on that. We as in me. But, as you can see, there's this new recipe here. And you can also see down at the bottom there, you know, kind of spoilers, right on the bottom of this pop-up here, it says... It looks like red gen. It's pronounced rejon because spells. And it's crafted using 3 Fictus and 2 demarial. And so you just take these and you put them in there like this, and you'll see you get out rejon. Now rejon is an example of an ancient magic. So it's created from multiple primordial. Now the method of doing this is actually going to change. There's a whole catalyst system coming. I'll show you that when I get it going. But for now, I just want to show you one more little thing. And when I say little, I don't really mean little thing that I've been working on. I think you'll like this one. It's a good way to round off the video, which, if you have been enjoying it, do make sure you drop a like on it. And do even consider subscribing if you're not already while I count to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Boom. There's our first ring. So this is the basic setup called the Primordial Rings. You've got your Luberian, outside Argonite, outside Crematelian, outside some filler block, outside a Spellstone. And what you're going to need to do is place in the correct filler block in order to create, that's right, primordial magics. So, just to give one example, and I'm not going to do them all right now, mainly because I don't have them all completely coded yet. So, if I'm going to place in my filler block, which is the void block, which of course you would just need to have a sacrifice block, you know, like cobblestone, right click on it with the void spell. Then I'm going to take my channeling stone really quick before the void can spread and accidentally consume one of these rather expensive mineral blocks, and boom, the whole thing will get destroyed, and I'll end up with this piece of Etern Ox, which I really hope it picked up on the recording because it happened kind of fast. So, more to come soon with the mod. My whole thing right now has been to compress the code to make it as clean as possible. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this update on it. I hope you're looking forward to the mod as much as I'm looking forward to the mod. Because I know, like, I'm making something here that I know I'm going to have fun playing. I don't know if you're going to enjoy it. I know I'm going to enjoy it. You know, get on with a few of my friends in Wizard Duel or whatever. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do when I get this release done. Let's be real here. But for now, thank you for watching. Once again, this has been Mushroom Man Alex. Actually Mushroom Man Toad, but an Alex in modding development. And I'll see you in the next one. And now we're going into the void.